Hey everyone, the name's Exotic Gaming and thanks for clicking on my video. I hope you're all having a great day and I hope this video will make it even better. Welcome back to another video game comparison on the channel. If you haven't seen my videos before, you know I play a lot of different Battle Royale games and I've compared many different ones together in the past. PUBG versus Rules of Survival, Fortnite versus PUBG, PUBG versus Call of Duty Mobile, and now, yes, as you have seen in the title, we will be comparing Call of Duty Mobile and Fortnite Mobile head to head to see which is the best Battle Royale out of the two. Fortnite Mobile has long held the title of one of the most unique, innovative Battle Royales ever created. But Call of Duty Mobile certainly gives it a run for its money. Will Call of Duty Mobile beat Fortnite Mobile? Let's find out. So yes, my friends, I really hope you all enjoy this video, and I hope you learned something new. I want to take a second and shout out my friend Bella, who helped provide the Fortnite Mobile gameplay. Without her, this video wouldn't have been possible. Her social media is linked down below in the description. Follow her there if you want to see one of the best female Fortnite players out there. Anyways, I would greatly appreciate it if you left a like rating down below. It takes just a few seconds, but it helps out the channel a ton. And subscribe to my channel for more Battle Royale content on many different games in the future. You won't be disappointed in what I post. With that being said though, let's get strapped in and let's compare these two games, seeing which one is best. So in order to make a fair comparison, we need to compare these games in a few different ways. Since this is a Battle Royale specific comparison, we're not going to take into account the other game modes these games have. We know Fortnite has creative mode and Save the World and tons of other cool content. And Call of Duty Mobile has Team Deathmatch, Free-for-All, and so many others as well. So if you compared them that way, it would get way too confusing. So, in terms of Battle Royale, what I've come up with is the following. In-game features, speed of gameplay, level of player engagement, weapon physics, map features, customizability, and graphics. All of these different aspects will be addressed in depth, and hopefully from this, we'll come out with a clear winner on what Battle Royale is best. Getting things started, let's get into overall in-game features of both games. If you've played these games before, you'll know what I'm talking about. So, both games have something that flies over the map and you can drop wherever you want. Both games have zones that get smaller and smaller and hurt you if you're left outside. Both games have a battle pass and both games have a common goal: for you or your team to be the last one standing. However, this is where their similarities end. Call of Duty Mobile is a bit more boot-on-the-ground style of a Battle Royale, but not quite on the level of a game like PUBG Mobile. Because of this, if someone is completely new to both games, they will be able to pick up Call of Duty Mobile and get pretty good at it more quickly. There are 6 different classes someone can be when they first start a match, ranging from Defender, who can place a shield down for his team. Another could be a medic and continuously deploy a healing station for his team in heavy gunfire. And even still, another can be a ninja and use a grappling hook to climb atop buildings fast. You have automated callouts that you can send to your team and nearby enemies when you're performing an action to provide a more immersive and intense experience. And to add on top of all of this, Call of Duty Mobile has something called dog tag revives, where if a teammate gets killed, they have something called a dog tag that appears on their body, and if you can pick it up off of your teammates, they can drop back down from a cargo plane that flies over the map every once in a while. So despite being more of a traditional military-style shooter, it still has unique aspects to differentiate itself from other Battle Royales. In contrast, Fortnite Mobile takes a vastly different approach. The biggest difference between these two games is the fact that Fortnite has something we have all seen before: building. Yes, building. And believe me, it drastically changes how this game works. You spawn in with a pickaxe when you drop from the battle bus, and you can use that pickaxe to farm up materials that you can in turn use to build forts, engage in build battles, and protect yourself with. Whereas in Call of Duty Mobile, you can use the Defender class to shield yourself from bullets, and the Ninja class to get atop buildings. You can just build whatever you want in Fortnite Mobile, and it allows for the craziest of battle situations. Because of this, the gameplay speed in both games is drastically different. Now we can talk about the speed of gameplay. After playing Fortnite Mobile for over a year and Call of Duty Mobile extensively over the past couple of weeks, I can say one thing's for certain with both games. They're very intense. However, the way they're intense is very different. It's pretty difficult to argue against the simple fact that Fortnite will give you more action on a more consistent basis. Now, Call of Duty Mobile is a lot more action-packed than other battle royales like PUBG Mobile, for example, but you still will have quiet times in the game. You'll still have periods of a few minutes where you're simply traveling to get inside the next zone, and that's it. However, you can greatly eliminate this downtime by using vehicles placed around this game. There are far more vehicle spawns in Call of Duty Mobile and many more types of them as well. Whereas in Fortnite, you have a few quad crashers, drift boards, and ballers scattered across the map, Call of Duty Mobile has helicopters. Imagine if Fortnite had helicopters, man! It is true they had airplanes back in the day, and golf carts and shopping carts a little while back, but Call of Duty certainly has the vehicle gameplay beat, since you can just fly across the map, and your teammates can shoot enemies from above when you're all in a helicopter. That's really cool. Fortnite still wins in terms of overall gameplay speed, though. If you look at people who are really good at their build battles going head to head, there's really nothing else like it. No other game comes even close, and those who are good with build battles have to be razor fast with their reflexes. Back when Tilted Towers was around, you could kill 10 people in a matter of minutes, and do that all while building all over the city. Something that simply isn't possible in Call of Duty Mobile. Both games, however, will end pretty quickly. On average, both Fortnite and Call of Duty Mobile will end games in around 15 to 20 minutes, so they certainly go by fast. Both games allow you to loot up pretty similarly, so that really can't be a comparison, but I want to hear what you all think. Do you like building in Fortnite more, or boots on the ground Call of Duty more? In terms of player engagement, for your overall average player, I'd actually have to say Call of Duty Mobile wins this one. If you take someone who's just starting out playing both games, I just really like how Call of Duty Mobile posts you up against low-level players who aren't very good either, so you actually have a chance to warm up to the game. You don't have to be super accurate with your weapons or even know how the controls work, and slowly, over time, you'll encounter better and better enemies. This allows beginners to not rage quit as much, something I feel like happens in Fortnite a lot. Someone who just starts out playing Fortnite will encounter someone with crazy awesome builds and continuously die over and over again in the very beginning of a match. And you probably feel like it's not worth the grind to get better. However, not all people think like this, and some really like that grind. What do you like better? Facing low-level players in the beginning so you have to warm up to the game? Or jumping full-fledged into a match filled with pros? Weapon physics are very, very different in both games. If you were to play in third-person mode on both games, and you were to aim down the sight with an assault rifle like the SCAR in Fortnite, or the AK-47 in Call of Duty Mobile, you'll find your character still in a sort of semi-third-person mode in Fortnite, where you don't use any sort of iron sights, but in Call of Duty Mobile, iron sights exist. This contributes to a more realistic style of gameplay in Call of Duty. Now, both games do have an option where you can go between auto-fire or pressing a button and firing, which I think is a nice touch, and if one game didn't have one of the two, that would certainly diminish it. However, since they both do have that, that's great on either front. Another thing that is very important to note is the fact that weapons are much more difficult to control in Call of Duty Mobile. If you tried to aim down the sight and go full auto with something like the M4 in this game, the recoil is massive and isn't easy to understand. New players will struggle with this feature, and I even struggle with it from time to time. With Fortnite, in contrast, weapons are a lot easier to control because recoil overall, in general, is lessened. Every single weapon has bullet drop and travel time in Call of Duty Mobile, but that's not the case in Fortnite. Only the snipers with scopes have any sort of bullet drop, so that means if you were to shoot someone with the heavy assault rifle from 200 meters away, there would be absolutely no travel time. Now, whether you hit someone is an entirely different story. In Call of Duty Mobile, weapons are far less accurate, and even at distances around 100 meters away, SMGs won't even hit enemies at full auto, so you have to fire short bursts in order to hit enemies. Now, you can do this as well in Fortnite to be more accurate, but you're more easily able to go full auto at longer ranges in Fortnite than you would be able to do in Call of Duty. Now, in terms of what types of weapons both games have, I have to say Fortnite does beat this one. Now, it is true that Call of Duty Mobile won't have as many unique weapons as Fortnite because it is a more realistic game. However, Fortnite's unique weapons certainly aid in its gameplay. It has everything from an impulse grenade, to a shockwave grenade, to a sticky plunger explosive, to even a stink bomb. So many unique things that don't exist in Call of Duty Mobile and make the gameplay experience in Fortnite's way more unique. Also, both games have weapon rarities, so in both games, obviously, gold is best. I feel like this is a nice addition to Battle Royale games, and I think it works great in both games. In terms of weapon physics, I like Call of Duty's more. It's much more realistic, and it has a much bigger learning curve, which I think will prove to be a shining feature to the game several months from now once people start getting better at the game. However, in terms of overall weapons, Fortnite wins that one. Now, both games have fantastic maps. The best thing about Call of Duty Mobile's map is the simple fact that it's beautiful. It really is an incredibly designed map. With the graphics this game has, it almost feels like you're playing the game in real life, because it almost looks as good as real life. All of the towns are nicely spread out, and nothing really feels out of the way. The cool thing about Call of Duty Mobile's map is it takes elements of maps from previous Call of Duty games, like Bus Station and Nuketown, for example, so anyone who's played a Call of Duty game in the past will feel a lot of deja vu in this game. They'll get a very comfortable feeling very fast. On the other hand, I have to say, the map in Fortnite is the absolute coolest out of any Battle Royale. It beats Call of Duty's with the fact that it's a highly dynamic map. It is ever-changing. I do have to note that there are zombies and even a big monster dragon boss battle in Call of Duty Mobile, but it just doesn't happen on the same level as Fortnite. The Fortnite developers keep adding cities, removing cities, adding other unique things to the game, partnering with other big companies and adding things that only exist in Fortnite, like concerts, like special in-game features, and more. And they don't do it by simply deleting a section of the map, but they rather have a cinematic every season like a volcanic eruption, rocket launch, or a cube that keeps players engaged for months and months on end. There's always something new and changing in Fortnite, and this is the perfect way to keep players engaged. So while I said Call of Duty Mobile keeps players engaged in terms of overall raw gameplay, I'd have to say Fortnite Mobile wins the player engagement if you take into account the backstory behind the game. We always are waiting to hear any secrets coming from Epic Games of what could be coming next, and that just doesn't happen on any level in Call of Duty Mobile. Now, customizability and graphics are very different on both games. In terms of graphics, it's really hard to compare the two. Of course, Call of Duty Mobile is the more realistic looking game out of the two, but Fortnite is intentionally made to look cartoony. It isn't supposed to look realistic. Looking at it with that mentality, we can see how Epic Games made Fortnite really look like a great game. There's no denying that. It's one of the best looking mobile games out there right now, but I simply can't put it ahead of Call of Duty Mobile. When we're talking about Fortnite Mobile rather than just regular Fortnite, Epic Games really could have done a much better job. It still doesn't look nearly as good as the PC or console versions of this game, and it shows. Even with max settings turned on, it's just subpar to Call of Duty Mobile's graphics. Call of Duty Mobile has some of the best graphics out of any Battle Royale ever created, even PC and console games. In terms of customizability, that's a little different though. Both games allow you to customize placement of your controls, so you can play with your thumbs or claw method, whatever one you choose. And honestly, both games have such similar customizability, it's impossible to choose one over the other. Fortnite and Call of Duty tie the customizability rounds. So in the end, it's very difficult to decide between the two games on whether which one is better. The day that I am recording this video is May 30th, 2019. This video is being uploaded a couple of weeks later. I am on vacation and I couldn't record this video in the present. As of right now, Call of Duty Mobile is still in a beta testing stage. It isn't fully complete yet. It still has a long way to go to become the completely polished game that it is destined to be. There are still weird bugs that happen every now and then, and that certainly gets taken into account when comparing these two awesome games. There's no question about it. Fortnite Mobile is the much more polished game. Far less bugs make this game a lot more stable, and in the end, it's probably the game that is more engaging as of right now. It hurts to say, because for me personally, I like Call of Duty Mobile better. However, I have to recognize Fortnite Mobile is a really good game, and it has to be said. Fortnite Mobile beats Call of Duty Mobile. However, it doesn't beat Call of Duty Mobile by any major strides. Despite Call of Duty Mobile just recently being released, it has taken major strides to become one of the best mobile games of all time. It is an incredible game, and regardless which game you decide is better, you'll have a wonderful time playing it. Both games are so much fun, and both games will provide you hundreds and hundreds of hours of intense, fun gameplay. In the end, Battle Royales are awesome. So yes, my friends, I really hope you all enjoyed this video. It took quite a long time to put this video together, so I would greatly appreciate a like rating down below. Subscribe to my channel for more awesome Battle Royale content, and most importantly, follow my friend Bella's socials down below in the description. She was the one who provided the amazing Fortnite Mobile gameplay you saw in the background. She's one of the best mobile players I have ever seen. With that being said though, we're out of time, so I thank you for staying until the end, and I will see you all later.